Hey there, welcome to day 35 of our annual challenge. Be you, do one thing every day that improves you. Today we're talking about emotional intelligence. What's yours? Do you know? Emotional intelligence is our ability to perceive, use, understand, manage, and handle our emotions. Well, what are the signs of that? There's absolute signs whether you have emotional intelligence or not. And then, of course, it usually improves with age. Not guaranteed, but usually. What are some characteristics of emotional intelligence you know and you can kind of gauge yourself? And finally, how do you develop emotional intelligence? We'll talk about 7 different characteristics and signs that we'll talk about 7 characteristics, 5 signs, and 6 steps to developing emotional intelligence. Why? Because it's an area we want to improve in. Almost all of us want to get better at understanding and feeling and perceiving our emotions, using our emotions, understanding them, managing them, and handling them. As we get more mature, we understand that we have the ability to control our emotions. So what are 7 signs of emotional intelligence? 1, do you get along with other people? How well do you get along with other people? Are you interested in other people? 2, are you self-aware of your own strengths and weaknesses? 3, are you operating with integrity? I love this list of signs of emotional intelligence because we don't always consider, are we doing what's right for ourselves as well as for the rest of the world? Self-awareness of our feelings. Are we aware of how we're feeling at any given time and the impact that has on us? Are we focused on the present moment? Are we self-motivated, self-starters? Do we need somebody to be prodding us and telling us what to do all the time? Or can we manage our own business, and meaning our own personal business, our lives? And finally, do we know how to have well-placed boundaries? Do we set boundaries with other people? Do we set boundaries with ourselves? Do we know where that line in the sand is for ourselves in terms of what we will and will not tolerate, what we will and will not do from ourselves as well as from other people? So those are 7 signs of emotional intelligence. So take a little audit of yourself and say, do I care about other people? Do I get along with other people? Am I interested in other people? Am I aware of my strengths and weaknesses? Am I operating with integrity? Am I self-aware of my feelings? Do I know how I feel, or am I just feeling and not ever actually getting it to the conscious level and thinking about the impact of my feelings on my long-term results, my short-term results, my relationships, everything else in my life? Am I focused on the present moment, or am I living in the past, or living for the future, just chugging away, fantasizing about the future and not really doing anything about it in the present moment? Am I motivated? Am I a self-starter? And do I have boundaries? Do I set boundaries with other people? I personally have improvement to make in all of those areas, right? We all do. That's something we can continuously improve in. So what are some characteristics? What are 5 characteristics? And these are from Daniel Goleman. He is an American psychologist, and he came up with 5 different characteristics of emotional intelligence. And whenever somebody comes up with something, other people tend to adopt it and build off it or make it their own. So he says, number 1, self-awareness. Are you aware of yourself? Number 2, self-regulation. Are you able to control yourself? 3, are you motivated, and you have internal motivation? And 4, do you have empathy? And 5, social skills. Do you have social skills? Can you communicate? Do you get along with other people? Can you work in a group? And these characteristics tie into the signs of emotional intelligence, right? Finally, how do you develop emotional intelligence? We need social intelligence too, but how do we develop emotional intelligence? Now, to me, emotional intelligence is for us and our interaction with other people. Social intelligence is about other people more, in engaging with other people. So what are the 6 steps? We're going to talk about 6 different ways to develop emotional intelligence. Number 1, we want to observe how we react to things. How do I react to things? Something happens, how do I react? How do I respond? What do I do? What do I not do? Do I procrastinate? Do I take action? Do I get angry? What feelings are triggered based on different things that happen around me? So we want to observe and not necessarily do anything about it, but we want to understand and observe our different types of reactions. Secondly, we want to look at our environment. this person specifically called out work environment, but it's not necessarily just work, right? We need emotional intelligence in every area and aspect of our life, not just in our work life. Thirdly, we want to do a self-evaluation. We want to say, okay, you know, I get angry really easily. Maybe I can do something about that. Or I get frustrated or procrastinate really easy. Maybe I need to re-examine and reevaluate and do something about that. Fourth, we want to examine how we react to stressful situations. Most of us react one way when things are going smooth and hunky-dory. Other ways when we're under pressure or stress. I know I'm a lot less stressed out now than I was when I was raising my kids, running businesses, and working in corporate America all simultaneously. I was a freaking beast of stress. So we want to know, how do we respond in stressful situations versus normal conditions where we're not stressed out or freaked out about something. Fifth, we want to take responsibility for our actions. Guess what? Nobody can take responsibility for our actions but us. And until we take responsibility for our actions, we're just acting like a victim and blaming other people and blaming things outside of us for our lives when it's always up to us. As hard as that is to admit, it's always up to us. And the cool thing about taking responsibility is then you have the freedom to choose and change and create the life that you want. And finally, 6, examine how your actions affect others before you act. Think before you act. Oh my gosh, should and then this is like, we're going to do this after the fact usually because that's how we learn, but then we'll get into the habit of saying, okay, well, if I react this way, this is how so-and-so is going to respond. Or if I react this way, if I do this in my business, this is the impact it's going to have on my customers, my employees, my people in my community, etc. We think before we actually take action based on our emotions and feelings. That is a true sign of emotional intelligence. So our action item today is just to share one way in the comments below that you'll move forward and improve your emotional intelligence. Maybe you'll just follow the how to develop emotional intelligence 6 steps. Maybe, hey, I've never done this before. I don't think I've ever sat down and actually thought about my emotional intelligence. I just personally develop and hope that I land in a good spot. So I'm going to actually go through the steps and say, okay, well, I'm going to evaluate myself. As part of my evaluating myself, I'm going to use the characteristics and signs of emotional intelligence and say, well, how do I stack up? How do I judge myself right now? Not in the past, not in the future, right now. What's my current situation? How do I want to be? Or how am I? Not how do I want to be? How am I right now in these areas? How do I want to be? And that'll form the pressure for me to improve in each of these different areas. I mean, some I'm pretty confident in. I am pretty clear on what my strengths and weaknesses are. I'm pretty clear on my integrity, where I draw that line in the sand. I'm very clear about that. I'm pretty self-aware of my feelings, and I've been working and noticing that more, like when I get frustrated or stressed out, or I feel like things should be happening faster than they are. I remind myself everything happens in its own right divine time, and I try to chill out about that. I tend to be present focused, although I would like to focus a little bit more, at least once a day, on envisioning what I want my future to look like. I'm definitely a self-starter and self-motivated. I am not good at boundaries. I need to work on, and that's an area of improvement for me that I know I need to work on to improve my emotional intelligence. Because if I had better boundaries, then I wouldn't react or feel stressed and have emotions. So it's all connected, right? All right, that's it. That is our challenge for today. We're going to study and learn and figure out our level of emotional intelligence, where it is, where do we want it to be, and then use some of these things that we talked about to improve our emotional intelligence. Any questions? Hit me up. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow. And I think we're going to start talking tomorrow about the emotional guidance system, which is one of my favorite things. At least I think that's what our topic is. Not sure. I'll look. All right. Have an awesome day. Questions, ask. Otherwise, be with you tomorrow. Just do one thing today to improve yourself. One little thing. This right along with us if you want, but it doesn't have to be this. Just make sure that in some way, any area of your life, each day, that you're getting a little bit better to become the person you want to become.